Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.
Hey, today is Friday, December 13th, huh? Which is not a bad day for us black people, so don't get all superstitious. That's some shit about the Knights Templar and all that. But anyway, what's today's math, nigga?
Knowledge, understanding, all being born to culture freedom.
That's right. Knowledge is to know, look, listen, and observe. Understanding is the best part of knowledge and wisdom. It is the crystal clear picture drawn up in the mind. And culture is one's way of life. Freedom is the freedom from mental death and power. Peace.
We could like literally do a full one.
Okay, ready? All right, we're gonna hit that. We're gonna start.
Full.
You saw that? Hey! Yes, son! It came back! Watch out, it's back!
Yo, clap it up. Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast.
Right on.
I didn't know we was choreographing shit in this bitch, but we got it like that. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
Godfrey.
Fact checker Rage up in the house.
Present.
Oh, and we got two familiar faces
Yes.
in the house. Look at this guy. We got two familiar faces that we haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
Joining us once again. First of all, to my immediate right, we have returning. You may know him from the very first Yanadameen Godcast show. It is the Chinese Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Good.
You're
Also
looking
one
well.
of our
Thank
executive
you.
producers.
And one of our main executive producer, actually.
All
Yeah.
right.
Good to be back.
That's important.
Great to have you back.
Thank you.
And now, a couple of people over to my right, a man we haven't seen in a minute, who's kind of looking at Godfrey a little tight for some reason.
And he just started doing it.
You got smoke? You got smoke for guys?
Ladies and gentlemen, you might remember him from when we used to shoot at a different studio
Oh, word?
with some other people whose names will not be mentioned.
Oh, shit.
But anyway,
He just
Did he come with the building? Is that what happened?
No.
Okay.
no.
Oh, look at
Anyway.
get jealous.
Everybody, Black Belushi in the house, y'all.
Skitzo! My God!
Skitzo.
You took my job. That's my seat.
Black
That's right.
AKA
Like really loud, like the way
I
you
didn't even know you was here. Now
Oh,
take no damn.
shade.
Stop.
Oh, the shade.
Listen, Wesley Gripes, you took my job.
Don't listen to him.
Little Wesley Grant.
He just wants something to gripe about. Anyway, how are you, sir?
Oh,
I've been replaced. I mean, okay. I've been perfectly fine.
Well, I know you actually were not perfectly fine.
Oh no. I was kind of fucked up for a bit, like in and out of the hospital like crazy, and then after that I was like reborn, and then I just went out and ran havoc and doing shit. So that's why I was like, all right, I could come here and Now everyone's.
That's what's up. And did I see you at the BET?
I was just gonna say.
I
know I saw you in
watching TV like, is that Skitzo?
the crowd
Sitting
on the
there hanging
BT
out.
Awards.
Yeah, I was just chilling, trying to see if I could get me a Love and Hip Hop Atlanta girl. But it was too ratchet, too many STDs, so I didn't go for it.
You said too many STDs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Drip, drip.
Yeah, exactly. Drip. Isn't this drip, drip? No, it doesn't matter.
We're officially retiring the word drip.
I never started using it.
And
I ain't
it's a-
gonna lie.
I mean,
I ain't never.
I think it's-
check out that drip. Like,
I actually think it's what some of the older cats use to try to sound cool amongst the youngins.
When you
we
hear
drip.
someone
I
say
hate
that,
to
though.
see older people cap.
Yeah, say
and using
no cap. Yeah, you need a cap for that bald spot right here. Yeah, so I don't like hearing old people say cap either.
stop capping.
Stop capping, Shay. Like, I can't hear that. Just like drip. Drip makes me feel like you got a sweaty shirt on, like, I'm dripping. Like,
Drip, drip.
I'm touching it. Like,
Well, you have to be nice to Godfrey because all the viewers think that I hate Godfrey for some reason. You too? I just look at
I
him
just thought
and
he
it's like,
was just
I can just see the disgust in
no,
his
I
face.
just thought
I'm like,
he was here before doing
I don't know, got
ballerina,
something out
like one of the ballerinas, and he just stood here for a bit, like, oh, I ain't got it.
Now, I must say, this is the first time we ever pulled out the couch.
No, I'm not trying to throw like jazz. Got my foot with you, man.
They over here jabbing.
Wow. I knew this was gonna happen.
Fight!
I knew this was gonna happen.
Fight!
I told you I'm fast. I'm too pretty. He's too slow for my joke. I told the man, I'm fast. I'm talking thunder, man. I can create you. You can't create me.
The Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali.
I'm the strongest seat in here. I told you, man. Oh, I'm the greatest, man. Rumble, young man, rumble. I know you like skin, man, but that's okay. You're showing your weakness, man. That's all I understand.
Wait.
You know, it's funny because off camera, you said these motherfuckers together look like the Booyah Tribe.
I said the Booyah Tribe.
And if we put a flash of the Booyah Tribe up, Jay Netta, some of y'all might actually agree.
Yeah, Booyah Tribe.
We think it's bodyguard.
That big Samoan looking.
Keeping you away from her. That's what we
I'm the bodyguard.
Then you'll be your bodyguard.
So we're all here. So I
Good
think
to have y'all back. It's
we
been a
should,
while.
yes, we should have something, kind of a group discussion right
Some light
now.
fun.
Right. So in the news recently, Wack 100, made some comments. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from, but anyway, Wack 100 made some comments about Nipsey Hussle not being a legend.
Yeah, I saw that.
And his comments were based mostly on, numbers, record sales, stuff like that. T.I. chimed in. T.I., your friend in Hyman.
Hey, Tip.
He chimed in and said, well, hang on now, a legend is also determined by impact and not just sales, how they may have impacted hip hop or whatever, the genre.
I can agree.
And yes, I can agree with that. Wack went back and came with some other shit, like, told T.I. to shut up and mind your business.
Like, basically, you got personal.
Yeah. Said he was a snitch and all this other stuff, really. That doesn't really matter for what we're talking about here now. I want us to focus more on the, what is the criteria of a legend? Do you have to sell millions of records to be a legend? No. What do we feel? Now, this is us as original people defining our art form for ourselves. Okay, so we need to have conversations like this amongst ourselves. So let's just, thinking out loud, what do we feel constitutes a legend? And we can start with someone like Nipsey. And did we think that he was a legend? If so, what was legendary about him? All of that. Like, look at Godfrey's face.
I'm thinking.
He had
Because what he was
like you
doing
smell
was
some doo-doo.
what he was about to do was going to be legendary. I think, especially for outside of his performance, what he was doing for the community,
Right.
with the business, his acumen, he was putting people to work,
Facts.
putting convicts
Right.
to work,
And
He was
that's
doing it for
legendary.
Yes. Especially for L.A. and that he was buying up the property. That was legendary.
Right.
That, and of course, what happened to him is going to be a legendary situation. But I think he was on his way. As far as like, he's a legend, I don't think he's a legend.
Musically.
Because he wasn't even around long enough to really get to get to see it.
I guess
That's what I think.
Musically he has been around. It's unfortunate that he he was murdered like literally as he was like taken off, because this album, like this was considered his debut album. Very good album, by the way. Grammy nominated. That's an accolade in itself for your first album. I think. I guess maybe, and I'm not trying to put words or, in Wack's mouth. Maybe he was trying to say, he would have been legendary, but if, had it not been his passing, maybe he's trying to attribute him, being killed as what's making him considered legend. So.
So my thing is, the only thing that I can say on this is that Nipsey was legendary for coming out with an album that he sold for $100. Do you remember when he did that?
Yes.
And people bought it.
I think it was 1,000.
1,000. I'm sorry,
1,000.
1,000. Then it went down to 100, but it was 1,000, and he sold all of those. And being able to do that is a legendary move.
Like I said, business acumen.
As a business,
And taking that money and not just selling it for $1,000, going out and buying rims and jewelry and shit. Like really taking that money and reinvesting it back into the community.
The part that made it.
That's some legendary
The part that's
shit.
fucked up though is that he did a lot of things that was like notable, but no one noticed until after he died. That's when everyone jumps back like, I love Nipsey, and then it's just like.
That's unfortunate.
But if you love Nipsey, did you have that $1,000 CD in yours? No, you don't. Oh, all right. So it just made everybody like, and then the Grammys like, oh well, he died, give him a Grammy. It's not like they like noticed it until the posthumous, whatever the fuck you call that shit. Posthumous. Well, there you go. Thank you. Posthumous. Okay. But just that part right there is just like kind of messed up. It's just after you die, we notice you. I mean, that's really how
Well,
it
that's
is.
when a lot of the legend talk starts, though.
Right.
Is when most of the time when people die, because I feel like a lot of emotions are flying around at that moment. Let's keep it real. And now we want to start to look at certain people through rose-colored glasses, or maybe give them certain attributes that you weren't giving them when they were alive.
Also, the piggyback. I think a lot of confusion comes in because people get the word, they think it's a synonym. Legend versus popular. Was he a legend as far as what he did for the community and for us as original people? Absolutely. Was he a keen entrepreneur and businessman? Yes. So he was a legend in his own right. Now, on the flip side, was he popular? I beg to differ. I think in death he elevated and became more popular.
In the industry, he was actually very popular.
I'll give you an example. When I used to come back and forth to New York, when I was building with the God, I would always put on, for some reason, I would flip on YouTube on the smart TV and watch Nipsey Hussle videos. People didn't really know who he was when he was alive.
Right.
But once he passed away, I think he had more of an impact on the culture.
Yep.
So, is he a legend? Yes. Was he popular when he was alive? I would beg to differ.
Well, not as popular.
Correct. He
I
was an
feel
underground
his
rapper.
impact is beyond music. What makes him
Right.
legendary
That's right.
is, the fact that he came from the hood, Slauson and Crenshaw and all of that.
Stayed in the hood.
And stayed in the hood. He gained a certain amount of success. He had his girl is a movie star basically, like, you know what I mean, by our standards. He seemed to have enough money to not fuck with the hood, but he tried to set an example which is very impactful for other people to see.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Is everyone avoiding the elephant in the room that he was murdered because he was going to come out with that Dr. Sebi movie?
Well,
No, we're not.
I think it was other stuff too. Just the
we've-
fact that he was
We've had that.
buying up land.
Right.
We've had that.
He was-
That's a separate
conversation.
conversation.
He was
though.
buying up land, and also he had the Crips and the Bloods talking to each other.
Which
And
is
that's
a no-no.
legendary.
That's
He had
crazy.
them talking to each other.
That's legendary.
Like he could go to the Crips, he can go to, of course, he could go to any side, and they was like, "Yo, we're down with you," and the police are like, "What?" Because they got to.
How about they
I think-
walk? They walk side by side during his
by
funeral
side.
procession.
Man.
Now I'm
That's legendary.
I'm looking at people like Exhibit and you know
Game and all these
and
shit,
everybody saying like, yo, never in my history of living and being raised in California did I ever think I would see some shit like this.
That's legendary.
See,
When
I
he
just
was
don't like when
bridging
people
gaps.
equate greatness with, making white people money. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? How much records did you sell?
Awards.
What did you do for the corporate structure? Let's talk about basketball and shit like that. When they talk about rings and shit like that, that's for the fucking team. That's for the white people. There's individual achievements that need to be recognized when you're talking about the greatest players. But a lot of times, did he get a ring? Did he do something great for the white man?
Right.
No, well then he's not a fucking great player. No, that's bullshit. We gotta start redefining what's great, what we see as great.
So you don't agree
see
with
what
the
I'm saying?
metrics, the metrics that's
The
used.
metrics is wrong. Yes,
right.
we have to define what the metrics are. So I don't agree with Wack 100's assessment of
Why he's not a legend.
why he's not a legend based solely on how much did you sell.
Numbers.
You see what I'm saying? Because again, I'll bring up someone like a Big L, who how many people in this room feel that Big L is a legend?
Absolutely.
He's a legend,
His
yeah.
skill,
Big L
skill
didn't,
level.
I don't think Big L ever even went gold or anything like
his
that.
skill level.
You understand? But he's legendary. See, I feel like, first of all, part of being a legend is like, you got to do some shit that people will talk about in the future. Like the
Game
legend
changer.
of,
Game changer.
Bagger Vance or whatever the case may be. It's some shit that happened in the past that people will talk about in the future that's
And
not
remember.
necessarily, and they'll remember it.
Like
That's
Big-
what
Big
makes,
L-
that's
Big
part
L
of what
and that
makes
Jay-Z
something legendary
freestyle.
too.
Right.
Legend
If you
means
think
story,
about it.
right?
Right.
Story.
Big L and that Jay-Z
So,
freestyle shit.
so the legend of
Crazy.
a Big L is the legend of a little kid from the Bronx who, grew up around and came up around some of the greatest hip hop minds and talents of his time and soaked that shit up and became one of the illest lyricists of his time.
Right.
And then was taken away from us. That's what makes him legendary. It ain't about how much records he sold or even his popularity, because he wasn't even that popular. You know what I mean?
Right.
He actually became more popular in death, which happens to a lot of people. But Big L definitely became more popular in death. There wasn't people, he would have had a mural up back then. There wouldn't be no buses stopping by there throwing up L's in front of, you know what I mean? Like now, you got
So-
hip hop tours and shit.
Would you say it's, not to cut you off, God, but would you say it's safe to say that people get confused between the word legend, meaning defining it as far as popularity versus accomplishments? Because I think people get it confused. Popularity versus your accomplishments.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Like,
Because Big L wasn't popular,
be-
but you look at his accomplishments, right?
well, there's different degrees of popularity too, though. Because he was popular amongst people like us.
And there's also different degrees of accomplishments too. Like
Right.
because, what one person might consider an accomplishment, like, another person wouldn't.
And it's also perspective. So if we look at Biggie
Right.
and Pac, right? You may have fans on the West Coast that will ride for Pac and be like, oh, Biggie, nah, his accomplishment, and foresee Biggie's accomplishments in the music game, right? So can we also say it's also a matter of opinion? Because
Like,
if you
everything's
go around
a matter of
Brooklyn, if you go around Brooklyn and say, who's the GOAT? Most people in Brooklyn, most hip hop fans will say Big. You go out to the West Coast, they're gonna say Pac.
I believe
You guys
that
care for a
those
definition?
conversations are always subjective.
I have a definition of legendary. You guys maybe
Okay, go ahead. What is the, and where is this coming from? The Merriam
The
Dictionary?
Oxford Dictionary.
Good question. Well,
I'll
this
take
is
American heritage.
this is my first quick find on Google's.
Okay.
All right, so
Urban
legendary.
Dictionary says.
Remarkable enough to be famous, very well known. Her wisdom in matters of childbirth was legendary. That's the short of it.
That's popularity, that sounds like.
What dictionary?
This is just.
What does Urban Dictionary have to say?
Does it have mayonnaise ads on the website that you're looking at?
I got the
American heritage, boy.
legend, not legendary, but legend.
Okay.
First meaning a traditional story, sometimes
Story.
popularly regarded as historical but unauthenticated.
Well, that's legend.
The story of Nipsey Hussle.
Story.
I'm talking about
The
this
story.
Hang on, let's
Okay.
see.
Is an extremely famous or notorious person, especially in a particular field.
The story
Okay.
of Nipsey
Extremely
Hussle.
famous or notorious person.
in a particular
Okay,
field.
so I would say both. You know, in
Yeah.
that instance, they're both kind of.
Agreed.
You know, it's
Right.
giving merit to both, and I think that's what I originally said. I can see merit to both sides
Yep.
of the argument, but you know, I wouldn't rule somebody out as being a legend because they didn't sell X, Y, and Z, or they don't have this award and that award. I mean, we just watched
There are
Post
famous
Malone.
legends,
We
there
just
are
watched Post
famous
Malone get the best rap album award. So it's like,
Who are these people? They're
you know,
terrible.
100 years from now, these will be
Garbage.
the names thrown around in association with hip hop.
And that's crazy.
Ooh.
And that's crazy. Like.
I think up until Lizzo came, Iggy Azalea had the longest charting #1 for a female solo
What do
on
you think about
Billboard.
Lizzo and her post, her nudity post that she's been putting up?
First of
I
all,
don't think
I
about
just
them
watched
at
that
all.
movie
I'm
Hustlers
like, I don't think
last
about him
night,
at all.
and Lizzo was in it
What movie? What you talking about?
Hustlers?
Oh, Hustlers. Oh, yeah.
with
Lizzo-
Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah.
Lizzo
How
has
was
the
it?
body
Jennifer
of
Lopez
chewing
looked
gum.
damn good
No, she's taking
for
great
her age.
Yeah, she's still
the
smoking.
movie was actually better than I thought it was going
It
to
came
It
to my
was
house.
great.
I
It
got
was
that
alright.
little shit.
I like J Lo as an actress. She's
No,
like
it
she's
was
an
a-
awesome date movie
Yeah,
actress.
it was
about as a singer?
alright.
J-Lo?
But Lizzo was in it as a stripper,
Was she annoying?
As a chicken stripper, you said what?
huh?
She was a
Oh,
stripper?
Oh, okay.
She was a stripper, and there was a couple scenes where
She looks like the bit part of a hot
her
dog.
big voluptuousness.
Okay, I'm not gonna let y'all body shame right now.
I'm not body shaming. It's a
Okay,
shame. It's a shame of the body.
We're not body shaming Lizzo, please, gentlemen.
No, I like her videos. Lizzo's videos
Oh,
are
yeah,
fun
yeah.
to watch. They're funny, her videos. You don't
Yeah.
watch her
Have
videos?
you noticed that Lizzo is close
I don't want
to
to see her
lipo?
naked.
No, I mean, she's always have naked, but I mean, her videos are actually funny. She has like funny themes to
Yeah.
them. That's what I like about her. She's fun to watch.
I like her. I like her machismo. I do feel like there is, I just feel like there's a certain stigma that the powers that be want to always portray when it comes to black women.
Always.
And I feel like,
kinda-
I feel like she's doing her, but I feel like
Is she?
I feel like this is a part of that.
Yeah, she's coming off like a horny aunt. It's just not.
No, I wouldn't even.
Horny aunt.
You know.
Here goes on Lizzo.
He grew up really big there, but like,
No, but it's nice to see women. I like women that have big bodies dressed nice too. Like they don't show them as elegant. It's always with us. It's always black girl. Like I like my.
But that's what I mean.
Stereotypes.
I
It's
think
like,
because she's a beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a beautiful girl.
Show that other side.
I think
She has a pretty face.
she is being perpetuated
Over-sexualized.
a certain way.
here is perfect. Like that's what you would say. She has a pretty face.
I'll date her head.
Listen,
I got
Y'all being rude, misogynistic.
No.
I just go like this. Yeah, what's up, girl?
The toxicity in the room right now.
Stay right here. I don't want to see nothing else. Stay right here.
This guy.
I just got the box
Okay,
from
see?
Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse when Punjabi.
listen, we gotta get ready to go, man. Time flies.
It reeks of toxic masculinity.
I told you what I told you.
Time flies
Don't
when
worry
you're
about
having fun. Listen, we appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Press on that button right there. Press on that bell so you'll get a notification when we upload new videos and all of that. Yeah, if you'd like to donate, go to cash.me/$. Yanadameen. Patreon.com/Yanadameen or Yanadameen.com/support.
Last word.
We appreciate y'all.
Yo, when is this show? When is this one?
Last.
This is gonna be Friday.
Friday?
It'll come out.
Okay. And Godfrey, we trust my podcast. Make sure you go on. I can't
On the
wait
Gas
to go.
Digital Network.
Gas Digital Network.
Just hit me, B.
I will. Tuesdays.
Hit me on a Tuesday.
And Fridays at 9:30.
Because you had Vlad come up there. Now I'm a little.
Vlad. Now, yo, you
Yeah.
coming through, son.
Yeah, we both got to come.
Now I'm a little
Tampa Bay for New Year's. I'm at the Tampa Improv. Check that out. Also, on January 10th, I'm at the Wilbur in Boston, Wilbur Theater in Boston. That's January 10th, 2020. That's a legendary theater. Boom! I'm doing that, baby.
Legendary.
That's going down. You know what I mean?
My toupee time? Toupee, cheap plugs?
What happened?
All right, listen. We got to get ready to go.
Okay.
Thanks for Black Belushi coming through. What's your IG real quick?
My Instagram is Rod Raspy, and you have until February because Donald Trump is taking food stamps away. So just be informed.
Chinese Puff, what's your IG?
You know from episode 1, at Mr. Big Stacks.
Double big. Listen, and on that note,
He just stunned it on us.
for the Yanadameen Godcast, I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga Digga.
Godfrey. Peace.